Welcome to the Uncensored Match Build-Up Show, pre-season, Liverpool Tranmere. We've been talking about how you would handle a burglar on the stairs. It's probably going to be more interesting than the second half of this match. So if you want to pre-prepare any conversations to keep yourselves from falling asleep during pre-season football, highly recommended how you would handle discovering a burglar inside your house. Fascinating stuff, Steve, the master of the dropkick.
We had a dropkick competition in here 6 months ago or something.
I lost
big time. Barely got on top of the couch.
Yeah. So drop kicks harder than you can imagine.
No,
they're a staple wrestling move.
My point wasn't that I'm going to stand in front of him and drop kick him. If I heard him coming up the stairs, I would launch myself down the stairs.
And my point was,
him out.
You wouldn't get over the baby gate.
Or just spear him off the top of the stairs.
What I was going to say is the spear
is like Goldberg, and just the bottom of our stairs is tiles as well, so someone's getting injured.
And then he kills the burglar, runs downstairs and smacks 2 Dr. Pepper Zero together and starts throwing them over his head.
That's exactly
right. Anyway, we're back. Obviously, the season hasn't kicked off yet, but it's pre-season. We're back for a whole new pre-season. Chris Pajak's here. Tom Beattie making his debut on the couch.
Hello.
And Steve Hoare, relegated from this position, which has largely been yours this summer. Back to you knowing your role.
I very much know my place in life. Right by the door. First,
absolutely. So let's get stuck into it. Tram, we played this game a year ago. We won 1-0. There's not really much more to say about it other than that. It's probably going to be a very similar affair, I imagine, to this, where we'll see a reasonable team, and then we'll see a load of change. It's pre-season. Roll out your pre-season cliches.
I think we spoke about it a little bit on the podcast last week, didn't we? About the standard of opposition again, and it seems to start slow, try and get a little bit of fitness up, and then the standard of opposition gets better the longer pre-season goes on and stuff. And I think this game is really about, let's have a look at some of the kids. Let's see some of the kids who we can think actually they might have a little bit of a part to play, even if they're going to be don't want to look at the kids.
I never said the word.
With me.
I never said the word.
I'm totally fine with looking at some of the kids. I'm just saying now, then are they going to make it into the first team squad?
Yeah.
And then we look at it like that, and then we might see 1 or 2 players who were a little bit involved last season get a bigger role in the first half. But ultimately, I think as the games go along, we'll start to figure out what our first team is. I can't wait, to be honest, because I want to see some of the youngsters from last season. I want to see how they've progressed, and what's happening there. So for me, I mean, look, the youngsters is key. I want to see what formation we're playing, and I really, really want another signing before the game, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably asking a little bit too much. Tom, this time last year we got our first glimpse of Sadio Mane. I guess it's an outside possibility we might see Salah. He's only recently just started training with the team. Similar Solanke as well. It was actually Danny Ings who stole the show. Danny Ings and Ovie Ejaria
he scored the goal, didn't he?
Yeah. Last time around. But look, as we say with this, these games are very much about finding glimpses of stuff to give you that little taste of what you might see.
I think we've got the opportunity to see a couple of youngsters come through. I think the youngsters who played last year are probably the ones we're looking at again. Yeah. If I'm honest, the likes of Ejaria, Kent. Yeah. You'd be thinking they could come in, maybe do a job.
Well, they're actually of the ones. There's no Woodburn's going to figure. You'd imagine. If he's fit and available. Similarly, Trent. I don't think there's from Chris's perspective, I'm interested to see how they've developed. Yeah. But you're right, mate. Like an Ejaria and a Kent in particular. These are the lads who, through injury and loan, didn't quite get the opportunities last season. So another opportunity for them to put themselves in the eye line of the man.
And that as well. And I think tactically he wants to try a couple of things out, he said, in the past week. So we'll see what he goes with, and maybe that could transition into the next season. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
we started anyway, Steve, 4-2-3-1 in this game last year, and it made us all think we did indeed. I researched it and everything. It made us think very much. That was what we expected. It wouldn't shock me if we started 4-3-3 as we know was our best formation, and then we might, as Tom says, we might see something different during the game. Or again, this just might be very much an easing people back into something that
you'll just pick whatever formations it is to get 22 lads, 45 minutes each. So it's depending who's available and what you've got. It's just going to be it is literally a case of getting minutes under leg. So 45 minutes, 2 different teams, and that's all it's going to be. And for me, I'm just looking forward to going to the match again.
Yeah.
We're going to go down. I really enjoyed it last time when we went, me and Aubrey went, sorry, yeah, and we still had a laugh.
Yeah.
Going and watch the Reds play footy again, it's always nice to see. And I was excited last time with Mane, like you say, so we'll see what the Salah situation is and the Solanke situation is as well. Maybe I'll get a glimpse of those, but other than that, it is just it's the first day, isn't it? We all get to go and sit off in Samuel. There was flares going off and everything last time.
There was genuinely pyro going off.
The stewarding was horrendous. No one can get in, and you just stood and sat where you want.
Kids charging the pitch.
Yeah. There was pitching. It was nuts. So maybe it was all fun, wasn't it? Fun and games and stuff. So
absolutely.
Just go and watch the Reds and kick about.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot, Chris.
Yeah.
How many of the details do you remember off the top of your head about our upcoming live show in Germany?
Most of them.
Go for it.
Magnet Bar, 7:30 start, 7 o'clock. I can't remember the address. It's in Berlin. It's Friday the 28th of July. Tickets are £10. That's English, yeah? So, if you're paying in euros, you'll pay us in pounds. Thank you very much. Do I
look like a bureau to the exchange, lads?
Works out about €11.50. Sounds. Bit.ly /Redmen Live, all lowercase, is where you can buy the tickets.
Okay.
It's going to be tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. It's about an hour and a half of talking, laughs, beers, footy chat, me, him, John Reid as well, and the leader of the Berlin Reds.
Yeah, and there's also, we can't announce it just yet, but there's potentially some exciting stuff happening afterwards, so you want to get your tickets in, get them sorted, because the second that gets announced, the tickets are going to be very, very hard to get hold of, I'm just saying. So, yeah, the link's going to be in the video in front of you.
I don't even know what that is.
Mate, well, you're not going, so there's no point in telling you.
I'm on
you have to stay tuned to our social media channels, as we know you do already.
It might be that you get to stay in our bedroom with us.
It's defo not that. People would be giving the tickets back at this point. But no, honestly, I seriously get your tickets sorted, and then some big announcements to come about what happens later on in the evening. It's Payjack Nudes. It's not Payjack Nudes.
I mean, that will be later, but there's something else first.
Yeah, definitely. If you can work your way into Chris's bedroom, just saying, drink, plus he's a very impressionable young man.
Yeah.
So yeah, by all means have a go. But yeah, we're going to be in Berlin doing another live show the night before the game. So if you're going over for the Hertha Berlin game, come and hang out with us, have a bevy and watch us chat a bit about Liverpool. It's going to be amazing. So we will doubtless plug that plenty of times between now and then. So just go and get it sorted, and at least you can relax and switch off. So Chris, who /what are you most hoping / looking forward to seeing in and around this game?
Okay. I would really like to see Grujic again.
Okay.
I think we're going to have. There's plenty of games this season, and I think Grujic is going to have to come into the fold at some point. Whether we sign Naby Keita or not, we could have a midfield of Keita or a replacement for him anyway. Henderson, Chan, and Wijnaldum. And you'd think on the surface, even if we're playing 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, that would be enough for those centre midfield spots. Mm-hmm. But with Henderson's injuries, the way that Chan was playing through pain at times last season, I think that Grujic is going to have to play games this season. He was brilliant last pre-season. I know it's only pre-season. I want him to start. I want him to just dominate, like he did last pre-season, and I want him to grow into that role, because I think there's something there. There's a football player there that can be very good for Liverpool, and I want him to go out and prove it.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Tom, similarly you?
I think the athleticism of Grujic is the thing that draws me to him. I think that's really impressive. He came on a few games there during last season, really impressed me. I thought that he could come in maybe this season and do more of a job. We've got more games to play, so there's more option there as well.
He's a big lad as well, isn't he? And I think Jurgen wants more big lads in his team to oversimplify it massively. He's definitely got a touch. He's definitely got something about him.
There's something about him.
I was a bit disappointed. I mean, it's not all his fault. Major injury problems hampered him last season. I think we all probably expected a little bit more.
I think after that Barcelona game where he came on, scored a worldie, we thought we've got a bargain here, but nothing seemed to happen. But hopefully this season he'll kick on.
Yeah, Steve.
I'd be interested to see how Joe Gomez is looking and what the plan is with him, because I'll be honest, he only played a couple of games last year, but he didn't look that good. Obviously, it's understandable he had hardly played, but other than his initial, his initial spell at left back and stuff, and even towards the end of that, he was getting found out a little bit. I thought, I don't know if you agree.
The West Ham game,
West Ham in
lost
particular, he was poor. I've never really bought into it that much. If that makes sense, you can see there's something there, but he has to prove it.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get minutes, isn't he? Because Lovren still isn't back, for example. I don't think Lovren hasn't trained as we record today, so he's not going to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so whether it's a knock or whatever, he didn't train today anyway. So Gomez is going to get minutes, and again, we don't know what's happening. We think Van Dijk or another centre half. We don't know what's happening with Lucas' situation. So Gomez has got to do something. Whether it means he goes out on loan or he stays, it's pretty much time for him to do something and show it, isn't it? Because how many times have we had young centre halves who we thought, oh, he's going to be great, and then they kind of flitter off and end up at Norwich or end up at Middlesbrough or whatever. And hopefully that's not the case with him, but it's time for him to show. And in order to show it, I'm not saying he has to play well in pre-season. He has to be fit.
Yeah.
He has to. So he's had that massive layoff, and now he's had a long time to get himself fit. Apparently there was interviews on the official website saying he felt better, he was good, which is fantastic. Yeah. I just want to see him. What does he look like when he's 100% fit playing centre half? Because I don't think we've seen it yet. Yeah. So it's just that's one little nugget we can take away.
I think what drew most people to him was the links with Real Madrid. I think before then we were kind of a bit, to and fro whether he was going to make it, and then the links came in with them, and people were like, "Oh, we've got a bit of a starlet on our hands now."
Wasn't Cameron Brannigan linked with Barcelona? Big pre-season for him as
mean,
well.
That's what. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with, really.
But it's the Gomez stuff. I think is very interesting. There's a couple, isn't there? I'm not sure if Kent's going to get the same opportunity this summer, because I just think Harry Wilson's moved above him in the pecking order as well, and you've got Ojo there, who apparently were going to run the rule over. I think it was today Middlesbrough were added to the list with Newcastle of teams that are interested in taking him on loan. And that's a big difference for him. There's three options for Shea Ojo's future. Yeah. He convinces the manager he's good enough to stay at Liverpool for the season. He goes to Newcastle, Premier League loan with a good manager, or he goes to fucking Middlesbrough. And I don't think he come back from Middlesbrough. Yeah. If I'm honest, just because it's horrendous. You just get stuck on the transporter bridge, and that's the end of your career.
Die of smoking.
Very smoggy. Apologies to anyone who lives in Middlesbrough. Just for living there, not Middlesbrough. No, not mercifully not. But one of them managed to escape. went to uni there. It's a whole story. It's not an interesting story either. So we move on. In terms of the players, then for me, I think going back to what you said at the start, Chris. It's the ones who were on the fringes last year. Like, I don't think we'll see many shocks in terms of personality. It was great to see Kent and Woodburn and Ajaria last summer. We were like, wow, great.
Ajaria was boss.
Exactly. Ajaria was great in this game in particular. But for me, it's the development of it's Trent and Woodburn's development. They're the lads who are most likely to play games of those young crop. We're not going to see Brewster because of injury, who I think would have been the outside shout to get a couple of these early games. So and Trent, like, he came on in this game last year, and he looked tremendous coming forward. Set up Danny Ings for the goal as well. So him in particular just signed that new contract. They're the ones, because I think they won't allay all people's fears with regards to the Liverpool squad and what have you. But if both of those lads prove themselves capable of playing 15 games, maybe that might be too much for Woodburn. But Trent, if he can get 15 starts this season, then that's a real step in the right direction. It makes everyone feel loads more relaxed.
That's it. I mean, when you start looking at like what Benitez used to sign in the transfer windows, those were £5 million players that would take those spots. Now those £5 million players are probably 15 to 20, and that's what Trent kind of is coming into the squad as. If he keeps developing as well, he'll only get better and better. Yeah.
The only other interesting thing in the build to this was that Thomas Klopp said about the goalkeepers. Basically said, I'm in a comfortable position. Yeah. Got three really good goalkeepers. And it was like whether it's a Jurgen Klopp, like a throwaway phrase, or maybe, we love drilling down to things and making sure, overreading them, what have you. But he does effectively say, we're going to give them the opportunity, and then we're going to decide who starts. And that might have just meant for Tranmere, but that might even mean for the season. He's effectively laying the gauntlet down toward Karius and Mignolet, saying, prove yourself, my first choice keeper.
The options are open now, I think, with all three of them. I think they're all good goalkeepers, but they've all got something to prove. I think Mignolet had a strong end to the season. Danny Ward's had a strong season at Huddersfield, so it's all up for grabs, I think.
Yeah. If you effectively, we're only going to be able to play two goalkeepers in this game. which is loads, to be fair.
It's well more than usual.
Yeah, I mean, you probably, I don't know how far along, I was watching some of those Inside Melwood videos, which are the dullest thing I've ever watched in my entire life, by the way. People seem to be creaming the pants over them. I put a bit of music in, lads, chop the edit up a bit, just do something. But, you know, I don't, I've seen pictures of Mignolet there, I've seen Karius there, I've seen Ward there, all taking part. So it stands to reason that should all be available.
I imagine it'll be Karius and Ward. I think Mignolet, they give Mignolet a couple of extra days because he went out. He did go away with Belgium. I'm not sure he played actually, but he went with them. So he come back a few days, not much, but a few days later. And why not? Why do you need to give him a game now? You know what I mean? You might as well give the 2 young lads a game because I can't see it. I can't envisage us keeping all 3 of those about. I still think we're going to sign an experienced goalie to be 3rd choice eventually down the line. I don't see why you would keep Karius, Ward and Mignolet because someone's just not even going to get on the bench. Yeah. Unless you want to put one of them playing under 21 footy, which is what's the point? Yeah. So I do think there's a possibility where Karius or Ward go out on loan. So one of them is those 2 are battling for that 2nd spot, or the other way around. Maybe one of them won't. Like Danny Ward, I think Danny Ward would like to go back to Huddersfield if he offered him a choice, rather than sit on Liverpool's bench. So I do think it'll be those 2 get 45 each. Oh.
I think that'll make a lot of sense to me. Give him a bit more experience. He's still a young keeper. We keep forgetting that he's had a very good season at Huddersfield by all accounts, but I think a year in the Premier League, whether they stay up or not, we don't know, but I think it'll be...
Pickford. You know, Pickford just was out on loan at Preston, comes back in at Sunderland, gets a full season effectively under his belt after the back end of the one before. Signs for £30 million for the Ev. You know what I mean?
It's invaluable.
It's invaluable. Make or break a goalkeeper, that.
I don't know. I'm not bothered who it is. I think Karius can get just as much out of going on loan to a good side as Ward. To be honest, I think he's stagnated for a year now. He had a good season in the Bundesliga the year before. I think the number 1 jersey is Simon Mignolet's this season. I think he will be our number 1. I think the others are going to find it very difficult. I don't think they're going to do anything in pre-season that will change Klopp on that. But I understand.
I think the battling with each other. I think the battling with. I agree. I think Mignolet's the 1st choice, but I don't think either of them are nailed on to be 2nd choice.
And that's it. Like it might just come down to what type of club comes in for one of the others. Yeah. Because if it's like a Championship side coming in for Ward, which I doubt it would be, I think it would be Huddersfield, which probably Klopp would want anyway, then yeah. But if another Premier League club comes into Karius, there's 2 very good assets there for Liverpool, and they don't want the value to drop on either of them.
I mean, Chelsea have used the loan market very successfully, and they've been very clever with the players they've loaned out. And you think of Courtois. I know he went to Atletico, but that was on loan for 2 years, and he developed and became a world-class keeper.
If they're going to go, you want to...
Ward to Atletico?
Well, unfortunately not.
Can't sign anyone, unfortunately.
Ask Diego Costa how he feels about that. Like.
He get games in from January, won't he?
And Lacazette.
Ask Lacazette why he's on his way to Australia.
He's playing Europa League football this year. The thing is, for me, we're not going to see... The deciding factor is not going to be in these games for these goalkeepers unless someone does some horrendous mistakes. It's the things. It's the training for me. That's what Klopp's going to determine on. It's going to be how these guys apply themselves, because that's what fucked Sakho last year, was his attitude in a lot of these things. He wants to see these guys 100% focused, and I think they will do, but they'll probably be marginal percentage. And I think Mignolet, I think it's his jersey to lose, as it were, but they'll know the difference because they'll have worked, and the guys there will have worked with Mignolet, and they'll know what shit Mignolet looks like and good Mignolet looks like, and they'll be the warning side probably in training at some point where they go, this might be the other one.
Seen this all before,
he's not nailed that down. I think he had a very good season. Yeah, probably his best season for Liverpool, but. He needs to do that for 2 seasons and 3 seasons and so on and so forth, and it started the work for all of them, I guess, starts here. But yeah, we'll obviously know more as the days and weeks progress. 2 matches this week. Wow, lucky people.
There's always the chance he'll come on like Reina did up front as well against Grasshoppers.
Imagine
Jamal George was up front. Was it Huddersfield away? Out of those 3, who would you want up front? Mignolet, Ward, or
Mignolet can't kick.
Yeah, we're in trouble there.
So it's not him.
I'd go Ward.
I reckon Ward's a target man, mate.
A bit of a target man.
He's fast as well, isn't he?
And I've seen it
when he was chipping away to his teammates.
And I don't think Karius will be going for headers.
But then again, he threw his face on the line against Wigan last season, didn't he? So
it's all to play for there.
Pretty and determined.
So are we hoping for striker injury so we get a goalie up front?
Nope.
No, we're not.
No, fuck that. Just a cherry on top.
Been there, done that.
That's what it is. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, we're not going to bother us with score predictions and stuff like that because it's pre-season, who cares? But yeah, as I've been saying on the Daily News, has been tuning in for them. Thank you very much. They were great. Chris got to #1 trending last week. I wonder if that can happen again.
I doubt it.
Probably not. We'll try and get
Arsenal fancy me were #1 trending.
Good on them. It's to be expected.
Well, they weren't even fuming. Oh, they probably were. Actually.
They probably fuming about something.
Before we go though, seriously, link in the description. You can still get tickets this Tranmere game. Yep. So I'll put the link in the description because when they're not sold out, they need to sell out. Support a local club. Go and get yourself down there. Watch the Reds.
And we'll have a laugh.
It's come and hang out with us as well. But yeah, and lastly, before we go, theredmentv.com/join if you want to support everything that we're doing on the show here. As the season goes on, obviously people get these shows completely for free every single game of the season, but they're made possible by the people who subscribe to the website. So if you want to be one of those people, £2 a month, free for the first month, go on there, subscribe, and become a Redmen TV supporter and support us and watch us throughout the upcoming season. It's going to be an absolute belter. Anyway, check back post-match for some post-match content, whatever form that takes.
You might be doing player ratings on a friendly last
Player ratings on a friendly! From STH. Thanks so much.
That's like 40 lads out of
First offside 6, second 7.
I didn't even see him come on.
Who's he?
No idea. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.